people do need to laugh in this moment. More than ever. You know, it's such a divided time.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
The ability to just downshift into second gear, I think, is such a superpower that as a politician, he's smart to embrace. Now, you know, I expect Biden, you know, he likes to tell folksy stories, too, on the trail. But I don't know that we're getting folksy Biden tonight. I think 7 days of debate prep is an eye of the tiger Biden.
I know. You know what? When you were saying that, I was thinking, oh, how much would I love during the coverage tonight to get an actual laugh that makes like everybody laugh, like that, like cracks, because you know that's the way politics used to be.
Yes,
like you know the moderators would have a quick chuckle over something that was funny, like when Reagan said, you know, I won't hold you, you know, I won't judge you on your youth and experience.
Mondale, right?
And yes, to Mondale, and it was like you know everyone kind of broke up a little bit, and even the candidates used to make each other kind of laugh once in a while. And boy, are we missing that? But this, you know, we have like two pretty grumpy old men here, so I'm really hoping that there's a little bit of humor somewhere tonight.
Well, this is my concern. Martha MacCallum's in studio. That's not my concern. My concern is, so in putting this debate together, because they are trying to mute mics and everything, they've outfitted the set with some never-before-seen technology. Whose idea was it to hand two 80-year-olds a tech job on live TV? I don't know that this ends good. They're going to have a light. They're going to have a thing.
I know.
I don't know. But let me ask you this.
I know. You know what? I think that one of the potential storylines tonight is going to be, did that whole thing totally blow up, that muting issue?
Yeah.
Because it's a real experiment at a very big moment in political history. So I think, you know, I hope it goes well because that would benefit the American people. But if it's a mess, it's going to be the story. That's going to become the story.
And you don't want it to be the story. The only story you want is the one that airs at 3 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News channel. Hey, girl. There it is.
Going there.
You can't see the gun pointed at me when I said it, but you can kind of feel the way my vibe shifted.
Feel it.
Well, it's funny because when you think back to the beginning of this primary season, DeSantis launched his campaign on an unproven technology.
That's
He
right.
did that Twitter Spaces.
And it was a little problematic.
Didn't exactly stick the landing, and it was a problem. So that's why I am somewhat surprised. But that being said, I'm thrilled that we get to have this moment. And it's a bonus moment because traditionally we have to wait till September for one of these. So let me ask you this, because we all have our theories on why it's happening so soon. A lot of people who've been on this show think Biden might be auditioning to stay on the ticket because if it's a disaster, they have that gap between now and the convention to get him off. I don't know that that's the case because it's hard to get an incumbent out of there. But what would be the other deliverable in terms of the Biden campaign moving this debate up as far as they did?
I think there's time also to fix it.
Okay.
You know, it gives you a little bit of an earlier start gate. And if it's a disaster that happens in late September, it's a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
So I think it gives them some time and space. I also think that, I think it's great that it's happening. I always believed that these debates would happen. There were a lot of people who said, oh, there's not going to be debates anymore. We're never going to see another debate. And so it's good for the American people to have this opportunity. So it is very weird that it's early. You know, RFK Jr. is all upset about the whole thing because he says that, you know, these people haven't even received the nominations of their parties yet. We haven't had conventions yet. So, I mean, and it's a decent point. I mean, he didn't meet the criteria. So that's that. But it's a decent point.
Well, RFK made an offer. I guess we were seeing an excerpt of an interview that's going to air at some point this weekend that he said he'd make a deal with Biden that a month before the election, he'll drop out. You know, whoever has the better chance of beating Trump should get to stay and the other guy should get to drop out. But to me, he only has a ballot access. He can't win this election anyway. So the only role he could play at this point is spoiler, I think. So I'm not mad that he's not in it. But for them to go around the Presidential Commission on Debates, do you think that's why they did that? The two campaigns did that because it gave them the box out?
You know who's going to be watching tonight extremely closely, and that is the people at the Commission on Presidential Debates, because they are hoping, I would imagine, that they hope that this does blow up and that they can say, see, this is what happens when you have one media entity controlling the whole night. The whole idea behind the Presidential Commission on Debates is that it's bipartisan. Nobody was ever 100% happy with it. But if these kinds of things don't go well tonight, I think you're going to have a resurgent interest in having them handle the next one. Perhaps, or an additional one.
Fair. Let me ask you this, Martha. Do you think Biden has more to lose tonight than Trump does? Who do you think has more to lose?
Honestly, I think they both do, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both former presidents. This isn't the kind of situation that we're used to where there's a new guy or a new woman on the stage who people are kind of like, let's kick the tires on this and see how this goes. You know, we've kicked the tires on both of these cars for 4 years each. Exactly. So people, have a pretty good sense of what they're going to get in these two. But I think probably Biden has more to lose tonight. I think that Trump probably, if he stays, sort of status quo or improves a little bit in terms of he's got to reach out to these voters that are not with him. He's got to reach out to the people that supported Nikki Haley. He's got to reach out to the people who are independent, who are wavering. So that's really his job tonight. And
you know what? I'm fascinated by the setup because the fact that they are going to mute mics is going to force him into a more disciplined approach. Whether they realize it or not, that might be to his advantage. And I don't even mean from the standpoint that it makes him look more presidential, because I don't think his voters need decorum. I think they like what he stands for and they like the way he articulates his views. But I do think giving a guy who's witty extra time to formulate a response is an advantage they don't understand. Because I can tell you this in comedy. Okay, when you're getting heckled, you let the heckler talk, because every second that he's talking is a second that your brain, that's conditioned to talk, formulates a better response. Yeah. So I think this almost plays into his hands in that regard. And then you get this other measured presidential take just the same. So is there a world where they inadvertently helped Trump tonight by setting it up the way they did?
It's possible. I mean, these are all the Biden rules.
Yeah.
They wanted this mute thing because he interrupted so much last time. But I don't even know why they wanted it because Biden won that debate.
That was a good debate for that.
Right?
Yeah, that was...
So why would they want to mute Trump's microphone when last time it did not work well for him? And he should be more disciplined this time around. I think that there's been a lot of, podcasts that he's done and things that he's done where he's showing different muscles. The town hall that Brett and I did with him back in Iowa, he was much more sort of deliberate in his responses to things. So, I think that's probably going to be more of the guy that we're going to see tonight.
All right. It's pretty rad. We're talking to the great Martha MacCallum. One more question. When someone moderates a presidential debate, not that you'd know anything about this, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I would imagine somebody opens a bottle of wine within 3 minutes of this thing ending. Can you, I'm not asking you to speak for any moderators.
For the moderators?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
That's our girl.
No, listen, this is stressful.
This
is a very stressful, we talked a lot about the preparation of the two presidential candidates, and that's who people should be caring about, not the stress that the moderators are under, but it's a heavy lift, and you have like 45 questions that you love, and that you're down to the wire. You got to get it down to like 18, maybe 20, and so that's the process that's happening right now over there at CNN.
Okay, I love that, but you can confirm there'd be a good night to own stock in, say, a Pinot Noir distributor.
Absolutely.
The great Martha MacCallum. That's why you have her on, for her candor. We love you, Martha. Good luck tonight.
I'll have a vodka tonic either way.
There she goes.
Thank you, Jimmy.
The best. Back after this.